Good morning, I'm David with Nomadik Overland. This is going to be the install video for our 4th Gen 4Runner Tacoma conversion brackets. Basically what these do is they make it about 1,000,000 times easier for you to do the Tacoma conversion, so the 2.5 Gen Tacoma conversion on the 4th Gen 4Runner. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen either my first video I posted or have seen Tacoma conversion 4th Gens on any of the Facebook groups or whatever. Typically you have to make your own brackets, and a lot of people don't have the fabricating skills to make them look good. This takes all the guesswork kind of out of it for you, and they look really good. So you get 10 brackets that basically hold the whole front clip of the Tacoma for you, so you don't have to come up with any brackets yourself. What's really nice is the grill brackets actually use stock holes, so you can get your grill completely centered and then build off of it. So it makes it way easier to line everything up. Typically you have to like adjust everything, and it's kind of take a bunch of measurements, and it's a pain in the butt, to be honest. And so this makes it a lot easier. The only like two major things you're gonna have to do yourself is cutting for the headlights. So you're gonna have to clearance for headlights, and then you're gonna have to do the body work to close the door gap, which isn't super hard. It's actually pretty easy. I was able to do it, and I've never done body work before. So if I can do it, almost pretty much anybody can do it, to be completely honest. The only limitations of this kit are you have to have an aftermarket bumper unless you figure out your own way to mount like a stock bumper. So you're gonna need like some sort of metal bumper, and then you can only use fiberglass fenders. At least that's what I've tested. I'm almost certain it's not gonna bolt straight up to like stock Tacoma metal fenders. So you're gonna have to use fiberglass fenders. So let's get started. Let's start knocking this out. I actually have to take everything off my truck so I can show you guys how to bolt it all back up. So. All right, so I got 1/2 off. That's all I'm really gonna do. That's all you really need for the purpose of this video. But this is kind of how you can kind of see that these center mounts are actually based on pre-existing holes. Don't mind that, that's an old mount I made. But yeah, it's all based on pre-existing holes. So basically what you do is you're gonna start here and then work your way off. An easy gauge to figure out which hole to start with, which is the far right hole for this, is going to be this bracket right here. Because as you can see, there's a little tab on it that you're gonna have to end up bending up, but that's gonna be what determines your far right bolt hole. So working to the left, based on that knowledge, this bracket is going to be your far left one for this one. Again, you're going to have to, this is typically bent over, so you're going to have to bend it flat, but we'll start right there. All right, so first, I already have all these pre-loosened a little bit, so and then don't mind this stuff. This is something I made a while ago to hold my my winch box. Who knows, maybe eventually I'll make more professional looking ones for that. Again, imagine I've already bent this piece flat. This is just going to go behind there. Like that. You're going to have to push down a little bit. And this is for the I think it's the condenser mounting bracket. Hand tighten it for now. This one you might have to find your own bolt, if I recall correctly, because I don't think this has a mounting bracket or a screw in it normally. Alright, so that's in. And then same principle on the other side, except there is all 3 bolts or holes end up being used. This one only 2 of them. You have room for another one if you want to use it, but the other side, here, I'll just move it over. The other side, you're using this one for the horn, and then this is just a stub that comes through, and then again that condenser bracket right there. This is a Tacoma Hood latch. Mine is kind of jerry-rigged in there to get it to fit with this. So your situation is going to possibly be a little bit different, and maybe eventually I'll make a bracket for this too. But basically you might have to end up cutting like right here and right here. So like this piece and this piece, so you can raise this up a little bit, because from what I remember when I first did this, is this sits a little bit too low. So when you try to close it, the actual hood doesn't catch onto this. All right, once we got both these brackets on, there's one more bracket that uses, actually there's 2 more brackets that use like original mounting points. The first one is going to be this bracket right here. So it's a little kind of a L bracket with an elongated hole on both sides. It's separate from this bracket, which is for your fenders, for your fiberglass fenders in the back. So next thing is we're going to mount this, because we already know where it needs to go. So we'll plug this in real quick. All right, we're back to the front left side, so the passenger side of the 4Runner. And this is where the bracket goes, this one. It's right next to the headlight housing, and it's a little like protruding piece of, I don't know, body panel. It will be pretty obvious. There's a hole here and a hole here. What you're gonna want is, I'll put the thread pitches and the type of bolts I'm using for everything in the description, and the product description, so you guys know what you guys are looking for. But you're gonna use this top hole right here, and it's the same on the other side, and just bolt it in. Now that we got this bracket in, let's do kind of the final predetermined bracket. Again, it's the same on both sides. You're gonna have the holes available to you. Let me see if I can get that one. So that hole and this hole already exist. But what you're gonna want to do, if you're using rib nuts or anything, is pre-rib nut these, drill them out a little bit, and then do the rib nuts. Or you can just put a bolt on one side and the other. Both ways work. But all you're gonna do is bolt these bad boys into here. This piece is gonna push on it a little bit. Don't worry about it, it doesn't affect anything. If it really bothers you, you can probably just cut this whole little piece off right here, or bend it back a little bit. All right, now that we're got that bracket in, you can see the headlight hole. I don't know what this looked like originally, because it was a long time ago. I'm sure in my old video you could probably see it, but you're gonna have to clearance this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You're probably gonna want to cut back. If I had a guess, I'd probably cut back about 1 inch to 1.5 inches on this side panel back this way, And then I didn't have to do any clearancing over around here. So it's just this area right here that was clearanced. So you're gonna wanna do a couple test fits, make sure everything looks good right there. But that's the only real area you're gonna have to do any cutting. Everything else should be clearanced already for you. So let's get to throwing the grill on. And now that we have these brackets in, we can also throw the headlight on. So before I start, you're gonna have to cut another hole. Again, this is something you're gonna want to do after you test fit to make sure everything fits right. Don't do it right now, but you'll end up cutting a hole right here on this lower bracket for your headlights. So what I'm gonna do is fit the headlights first, just to kind of get an idea. I'll also do the other side at the same time. Because again, these brackets that we just put in are all predetermined. So it allows you to center kind of the grill a little bit easier. And then imagine I did it to this side already. You're gonna want to start working on the grill. So for me, I had to trim the grill quite a bit to fit my winch. And then you were also gonna have to drill 2 holes. I don't believe those holes were there. I think I drilled these. So you're gonna have to drill 2 holes at the base of this this actual bracket. Now we're gonna throw the grill on. So once you get the grill in, the brackets allow you to adjust side to side just a little bit. So what I would do next is put the hood on. As you can see, I already have the hood on. You can use the stock, the hood brackets that came with the 4Runner, and that's what this kit is designed for. Basically what you're gonna do is I'll move this over. Is you're gonna bolt in this one bolt. The back one won't work. It doesn't fit, but I haven't had a problem. The hood doesn't bounce around at all. So you're gonna bolt in this front one on both sides, and then you're gonna pull it as far forward as you can. All right, so you guys watching in 4K or whatever HD, probably seeing this crappiness right here. Again, this is because I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't have these brackets. Trying to weld this small stuff with a flux core welder doesn't work out very well. And that's when I was developing my initial first brackets. So now that we have this bracket, we have all the other brackets all set up. This bracket is the only one you really have to drill holes for to fit. It's up to you on if you want to use all 3 on each side, if you want to use 2 or whatever. Right now I have 3 up top and then 1 in the front. So I have 3 up here and 1 right here. And basically what you're gonna do is, let me lower this. You're gonna lift up. This piece goes under both the fender and under the lip of this piece of the headlight. There isn't a hole there right now. You're gonna have to drill the hole. There is a hole, actually. Yeah, there is a hole. There should be 2 holes, one through the grill and then one through the headlight. I don't think I drilled that one out myself. I could be wrong. But anyways, this goes at the bottom of the stack. And then you're gonna lift up a little bit and get everything aligned perfectly. So you'll get everything kind of aligned. At this point, I would mark each hole that you need. So if you're doing all three, mark all three up in the front. Drop this back down, drill your holes, you know, whatever you're gonna do, and then put in your fittings. If you're gonna use rib nuts, use rib nuts. If you're just gonna use bolts, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but you can use bolts too. So I'll kind of show you how this fits. All right, we haven't even bolted the headlights. We haven't even bolted the headlights in, like using these stock tabs, which is what most people do. And it's already, even without running the fender or tightening this side bolt, it's super, super stiff. This isn't even bolted in or anything. Sorry, you can't see that. This isn't even bolted in or anything. So it kind of shows you how much stronger this is over what people are traditionally doing. This part can potentially be a little tricky to get everything lined up perfectly. Yours might be a little bit easier because I was having to work with. There you go. All right. So even with just one bolt in, I'm going to just work my way across. All right, so at this point, you should have your grill mounted. So you're able to put in the center brackets. You're able to put in the lower inside headlight bracket. You're able to put in the lower outside bracket for the headlight and the fender. You installed this bracket right here. And as you can see, it's already super tight even without the fender on it, or super strong. And we didn't even have to put in the bolts for the top portion of the headlight. So this part is optional. If you want to drill the holes and do it, you can. It's not going to offer much support for you at this point. At this point, you're already pretty stout right here. So next, what we'll do is we'll do the rear lower fender bracket, and then we'll start throwing on the passenger side fender. All right, so at this point, the only bracket we have left is the lower fender bracket. It's going to go right here. Traditionally, well, stock, there is a fender bracket right here, so you can just, whatever, when you're taking off the fender, keep the bolt for this and reuse it. Nice and tight. And now we'll go get the fender. All right, moment of truth. So this mount looks like this. Is going to be the most complicated mount to install. I know we've already put it in. We're going to have to loosen it first, and then get these two mounting holes all put in and everything, and then remount these back holes. You'll understand why in a second. Once you do it, it'll help raise the front end, this whole assembly up a little bit and get it to where it needs to sit correctly. This upper mount goes into the headlight lower bracket, and then kind of sits in the middle between the headlight bracket and then the fiberglass, so it kind of sandwiches everything together. And then the lower one just goes into the fiberglass. You're gonna have to do the cutting for it, because fiberglass doesn't come pre-cut, so you're gonna have to figure that part out on your own. All right, so again, leave the lower mount, this one, hooked up. that way we can kind of get everything to where it needs to go before you tighten it. Alrighty then. Alright, now that we got the upper mount all squared away, what we're going to do next is get the actual bracket. So this mount screwed back in. Alright, so front end is like 99% done at this point. It's all pretty stiff. What we need to do now is finish mounting the fiberglass. The back end is super self-explanatory, that last bracket, but I'll show you anyways because that's what we're here for. And then bottom bolt is all you. At this point, you're like 90% done with mounting everything. The only thing that you really have left mounting wise is figuring out the placement for the top holes for the fiberglass. You can use the original mounting holes that came like with the 4Runner where the old fender mounted, or you can make your own. It's up to you. I think I did a little bit of a both, so let me just put mine back in. And then you might have to run spacers underneath to get it to raise up a little bit. It just all depends. And that's a Tacoma conversion. There's still like some small things you're gonna have to do. Again, the main thing is getting the fenders, the gaps to align a little bit better. But other than that, this is what you should expect. There's some small modifications you can do to, you know, get the lines a little bit better, but they're pretty much as good as I've seen, at least on the hood and everything up front. Pretty much as good as any Tacoma I've seen. Again, this is going to be up to you on getting everything lined up right. When I get some new fiberglass, I'll go back and get mine lined up a little bit better, but for right now, that's what you can get. The Tacoma conversion brackets are available on my website right now, shopnomadik.com or nomadik4x4.com. I'll be on a link in the description. Expect to take roughly probably half a day to do it. The only other thing you're going to have to do on your own is the door gap. You're going to have a massive gap right here until you fiberglass it in. Once you do, it basically looks like this is how it rolled off the showroom floor. Not a lot of people are going to notice, but like I said, the main thing is you need a aftermarket front bumper. You might be able to get like a OEM bumper to work, but I haven't verified, nor do I really plan on verifying. You can do that on your own, but it looks really good. All right, go buy one.